What's up? It looks like just me right now, so that's fine. I'll thank Jared and Latro later. Latro always cracks me up. Cow smoke and drinks. I do a lot of things we don't see them do. You never know what they do out in those pastures. We're not always watching them. Just like all animals, we're not always watching them. We don't know what they're always doing. But they're getting caught in acts, though, like that one dog sitting on the stairs, like a human. That was creepy. And then when he saw the master, he was like, hey, you weren't supposed to see that. Dude. Talking to myself. Well, one more person popped in. What's up, person? I'm just getting settled in. And I'll start the replay probably in about 15, 20 minutes, give or take. So what's up? I hope everybody's had a good week so far. Yeah, I was feeling kind of rough Friday and was having issues with the voice. And she was, she could have used it anyway, so it kind of worked out. Other than that, everything's a go for next week. She should have a upload Tuesday night at 10. I should be here Wednesday. Even though we are streaming Friday, I'll still show up Wednesday since I didn't show up last Wednesday because I thought she was streaming Friday. So, but I may show up next Wednesday, and I'll probably be here Saturday. We'll see how things go. Got a lot going on, and a lot of things are changing, but I should be here until she says, don't do it anymore. So we're good. Can't even see the chat. There we go. Nobody said hello yet, so that's fine and dandy. Let's see. And tonight's video is paranormal patients, nurses, and the whole works. It's about 20 minutes, 21 minutes, because I never show the end because a lot of that's old stuff. This is from 3 years ago. Go ahead and prop it up. You can hear her in the background. We could get her from the beginning. I always stop it when she's making the most worst face. We can get her out. Still not a good face, poor thing. There she looks like she's in awe. I'm by myself, so I figured, well, one other person. You can get a giggle out of me trying to get this to stop so she looks like she has a leak. There we go. Nope, that's still. There we go. That's better. Yeah. Don't want to start the video off with her making a funny face. I like to prep them up. Other than that, hey. It's been a wild time. Been a busy week. Running around. Then she yelled, I could play Fortnite with me, which is fine. I go play Fortnite with her for a little bit and get back to work. It's crazy. I feel like I live in a car some days, though. You know, it wasn't so bad when I was working because you drive to work, you work for 8 hours, 12 hours, sometimes 14 hours. Sometimes I went from one job to another. But those were the only time I was in the car. And usually, like the first weekend, when I get a day off, I at least try to stay out of the car. Man, it's just, I like live in a car right now. It sucks. So, hello, hello as people pop in. Make sure you hit that like button. The like button, please. Like button. Bucket. Like button, please. For her. Do it for Gemma. Anyways, other than that, it's been a pretty crazy week. And everybody's trying to get settled in for the winter months. The crazy weather, man. It was like we didn't get as much rain as I thought we'd get those days. We got rain. Wasn't much at all. But now, you know, today it was cool though, and it was nice. Now, today it jumped back up to like 88. I think it's like, what is it now? 63. But we were like 88 today. We're supposed to hit almost 89, 90 tomorrow. So, like, holy crap. We're at the end of September. Our normal's like maybe mid-70s on a warm day. Latro, there he is. That dude. I'd wait till the cows come home too. I don't know what Jared was saying. Cows drinking, smoke. Wait. Goofy people. But I'm the goofiest. It doesn't help when I can't speak half the time anyway, so that makes it even goofier. Makes me even more goofier. But yeah, so how you doing, Latro? You having a pretty good week? Anybody else in here that'd like to say, hey, good day? Up, down, two now. Yeah, I don't start the video right away so people can come in and say hi. I know other people are streaming, so I figured that. So some of them will be ending here soon. Others, I don't know. That's fine. I'm just to hang out anyway. Nice weather here, low 80s. Now we're down to 63 now. But yeah, we got pretty toasty today. We're supposed to get even more toastier tomorrow. Nice weather. Did some minor car maintenance. Tackling AC soon. Yeah. Well, you guys don't really have a winter. I mean, you do. I know it gets cold there. But now's the time to do it. Parts will be cheaper. You guys do cool off during the winter, right? I mean, I don't know how far down along the Texas are you in? You said what? You were in Houston, right? Or something like that? So you guys do get some freezing rain. You guys got that freezy crap the last time it hit you guys and screwed you guys up. Is that the thing about the South? When you guys get ice, man, it's a nightmare. We're used to it. Not as much as people are north of us. So my brother cheated. He lived in Minnesota for a while. He got an electric driveway. And all he had to do was flip a switch and melt the ice. I was like, that's bogue. That's just lazy. But genius. I couldn't believe he told me that. Yeah, I have an electric driveway. All I have to do is flip a switch. His garage was even heated. I was like, what the hell, man? Must be nice. Now he lives in Tennessee. He thought he was moving away from the weather. And then he turned around and got snow last year, and I laughed. But they live pretty close to the base of the Appalachian Mountains. So you can see them in the background. Nice place, though. Anybody else? I can let dead space so I can see if anybody pops up. But it's still only two of us. So I'll probably start it here pretty soon. If it stays to for a couple more minutes, I'll probably just go ahead and start this. It's okay. Some interesting orbs over at Midwest Night Watchers title. 2 videos of Big Dipper lights from the 24/7 stream. Oh, really? I'll have to go check that out. I saw the other night. I've been watching for the comets, and my telescope's just an average telescope. It's your basic starter, but I've amped it up a little bit. But I still can't see too deep out there. And I'm watching for all these. I'm looking for all these comets because at night I'm positioned at the right. My room sits into a big open space, so I may have a couple of phone lines, but other than that, it's no trees, no nothing. My neighborhood used to have tons of trees, still does, but they're not as many as they used to. And I've been watching, see if I see anything. The other night I saw two nice shooting stars. I probably won't do much tonight. When I get done here, I'm going to probably go straight to bed, hopefully, if I get everything in. I don't want to dilly-dally. Do my workout, do my walk, and climb into bed. Hey, Mr. Jarvis, how you doing, sir? You're enjoying this weather, I'm sure. Well, I hope you're enjoying the weather. So what's up down there? Not much in old Cincy. Lorraine. I got to call John. I haven't heard from him. It's driving me nuts. I texted him a couple times and never heard nothing. I hope he's okay. I don't know if his wife knows how to get a hold of me if something went bad. So, I see they solved the yogurt shop murders. The yogurt shop murders. What? I didn't see that. I didn't even know there was. I've been too busy watching other things and running around with the old man. I was saying when I came in here, I felt like I've lived in a car. He's had a lot of doctor's appointments. I've got appointments coming up, but that's my time of the year. So, no, was that something? I've never heard of the yogurt shop murders. Did I miss something? I must have. I'm like looking around, seeing if I could. My phone's charging. So, very famous American murder case that happened in '91. Oh, really? They took this. Well, actually, they didn't have that. Well, they was just starting the DNA stuff and all that. Is that what they got them on? That's wild. Where was this at, Chris? Do you know where it was at? I'm sure you do. I'll have to look this up. Yoga shop murders in Austin, 1990. Oh, okay. This genetic means. Haven't read whole thing yet. Wow. Wow. Yeah, because they didn't have the quite the tech they have now. So yeah, I figured. I think you'll see a lot more of these cases probably getting solved over time. And I'm sure AI is helping. Wouldn't surprise me. Anderson Lane, around 20 minutes drive from here. Oh, really? So you're close to the place. Wow. All true crime shows have done episodes on it over the past 30 years. I'm sure she did too. I'll have to go back and see if she did one. But she was more the missing. And then I guess she did her share of true crime. So I'll have to go back. If not, I'll have to tell her, hey, man, you got to check out this yogurt shop murders. I don't think she ever did. She's probably one of the few that didn't. I'll have to go look. Now, I was just going through that library, figure out the video. Tonight we're going to go back to a little paranormal and do paranormal patients, nurses, and doctors, stories from hospitals and stuff like that. I can tell you plenty of my own. My glasses. I'm not in between, so I have to adjust the glasses. I'm still getting used to these. Is right around there. Oh, okay. Podiatrist. It's been all over the news today. Really? I haven't looked at the news. Actually, I have been running around here trying to get stuff done. I got a little behind. I mean, Friday was I'm kind of glad we didn't do a show, and I'm glad she allowed me to call it because I needed it. I was hurting. My voice was hurting. I'm kind of glad. Now, I wouldn't have known if I'd been made it through Wednesday's stream because Wednesday afternoon, man, my voice was, or my talking ability was just awful. It was like that some of the day Friday. Not too bad. I got up this morning, felt pretty good. Feel like I could talk. I feel pretty clear. I know I'm still making mistakes, but it's just the way my throat works. I don't know. They explained it to me, but it's just like I have to soak feet in oxygenated gel as we watch the replay. There you go. Hey, probably feels good on your feet though. Just finished episode 1 of Tulsa King. Oh, did you? I'm going to be watching it upstairs. So he was pretty tired, man. Giles had a busy week. I know he was up downstairs last night catching up on all of his anime and stuff. So then usually over the weekend, during the night, catches up on all of his other shows. Was it good? I liked them. Yeah, Latro. I banged my foot the other day. I'm gonna have while I'm at the doctor's Monday. I'm gonna have them look at it. But my toes have been broken. My fingers have been broken. Punching and kicking. Marvel Zombies was great. It dropped today. The books, or it dropped today. Did I miss something? Did they release that? I don't even pay attention to Marvel. It's like the new Batman Alcatraz, or not Alcatraz. Yeah, no. Aztec Batman dropped the other week. I haven't even watched it yet. Show, okay. I see we got season 2 of Fallout in the fall. Yeah, I saw that too. I don't know. My Fae bug-eyed actress. Came out Tuesday. Okay, yeah. And both of them. I haven't watched that. The ninja ones that he did, feudal Japan ones, they're all right. I'm not big on the animation, but I mean, they were bad stories. They tried to keep it true to the books. But I haven't seen this one. It didn't look too bad from what I've seen on the little bits that I've seen. So I'll probably watch that. But I didn't even know there was a Marvel Zombies out. Now, was that on Disney? Ding Dong hasn't still set up my Disney yet. I stopped on the 3rd episode of Aliens Earth. And I have no idea what's going on because I can't get him to come down here and get his switch turned back on for me. I keep texting him, give me the password. And then I put the password in and it wouldn't work. I hear him up there cussing. My favorite Native American actor, Dallas Goldtooth, is in Fallout. Oh, is he? I only watched like the first 3 episodes. But see, I didn't play the game. I think I played the very first one for a little bit because he had it. I was checking it out. The new Mission Impossible is available for the last few were incredible. So that was another. I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan. Now I like the first one, but I was really never into those. That's like Fast and the Furious. I liked, for some reason I liked Tokyo Drift, and I don't know why, because it's not that great of a movie. But and the first one was pretty good. But that's just like, but everybody says they're good, so I may have to sit down and watch them all. I know he talked about getting a whole set, so getting them all. That was the last one, the last Mission Impossible they're doing, right? That's supposed to be the last of the last of the last. Tom's getting old. Wait, a new Mission Impossible has been on Showbox now. Oh yeah, I haven't even put in my Showbox yet. I have. All I have to do is go and do it, but I have it written down. I haven't had time. I'm lucky I caught up on the shows I am caught up on. Except for Alien Earth. I'd be caught up on that. I don't want to go up there and watch it. Was in my room and relax. Heck, I want to get in. I've got to get him to hook it up out there so Dad can watch it with me. Excuse me, guys. Let me do some here. Whoa. Sorry about that. Last week. Wasn't the movie supposed to be the last movie, too? I didn't know they started a show, too. Oh, show box. Steve, wake up. Sorry. Kind of lost the train of thought there. I gotta keep the throat moist. Any relation to Tonto, Goldstein, Chris? Haha. Hey man, Tonto. You say Tonto, I immediately think the Lone Ranger. I wish they'd make a new Lone Ranger movie. Make it a good one. The one with Johnny Depp was more about Tonto. I mean, it was a fun movie, but. And then they did one back in the late 80s, 90s. They did one that wasn't too bad. A little corny. But the Lone Ranger, I guess, was kind of corny. Old joke. No, last episode of Alien Earth. Oh, was that? Now I'm going to have to get caught up. So, yeah, I got 3 in, and we all had to reboot, and I had to. And they never came. Like I said, he keeps sending me the password, and it's the wrong password. And they came down here for like 10 minutes trying to get a take on his phone, and it's like, what the hell is going on? I told him, you keep making me wait. I don't want to have to pay for it when he has it because we all share stuff. And I pay for a couple and he pays for a couple. Though I do watch a lot of movies on Tubi because Tubi has a lot of old stuff that you just don't see anymore. And actually right now there's a bunch of rare stuff that you barely find anymore. Even if you could look into old stores, resale stores, you'd be lucky to find them. And now that it's getting spooky month, I'll probably start loading up on the spooks and the ghouls stuff. I like my monster movies. I don't mind a good scary movie or a good vampire movie. I like monsters. Give me the monsters. Especially the big ones. Bigger the better. Yeah, Final Reckoning is the last one. That's what I thought. See, I never saw any of the. I saw the first 2, and I only saw them because I went with Giles to see them. That's like, I haven't even seen Top Gun 2 yet, and I saw it at the theater when it opened. Oh my God. Get this baby rocket. Oh, 220 for 1224. Now let me go ahead and start this. Dallas Gold Tooth played in. Reservoir Dogs. Reservation Dogs. Yeah, Reservation Dogs. One of the best. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I know. I think of Reservoir Dogs, but I know the show because Giles liked that show a lot. Hello, Jared. How you doing there, bud? We're doing pretty good. Yeah, everybody make sure you hit that thumbs up. I always said that. Thank you very much for saying it again. Make those thumbs up. There's only 5 of us, so I can't yell at 5 people. But yeah, let me get this cranking here. It's only 22 minutes. It's a good one. Let me get it up and running. Okay, we're pretty much there and ready to rock. Let me get me situated here. Share the screen, Steve. Get me down in my corner. Okay.
And if you're new here,
sorry. 1 second. Let me down in my corner here. And blow her back up so you don't have to see all that extra crap. Yeah, this one actually it's 3 years old. It's about time they started doing that premiere with the chat. And she does have one Tuesday, as far as I know. So, and we'll talk about that later. But here we go. Let me make sure I get everything set up. It looks good. And let's do this.
Welcome. My name is Gemma Jade, but today we are going to be talking about possessed patients. And this is
You
paranormal
might have
and
to
or
adjust your
demonic
sound a little bit.
encounters
I have
from
mine on
hospital
low,
staff,
so I don't know how
EMTs,
good the
nurses,
sound
doctors,
is.
all of that really kind of creepy, in my opinion,
And I'm
super
turning off
scary
my mic
stuff.
too.
As someone who is around the dead and deals with death all the time, it takes a lot to scare me. Haunted houses, no problem. Creepy and possibly haunted cemeteries, bring it on. There's one place, though, that for some reason scares the living crap out of me. Pun intended, and that's hospitals. There is just something about a place that is filled with so much pain and suffering, death and dying, that just puts me in a state of absolute terror. The living suffer so much in these places, and then once the suffering is said or at least believed to be over, they're brought down to the morgue. I also can't handle the thought of being buried in the ground, even though I know for a fact the body is simply a shell and nobody, good or bad, stays in it. So the images of these deceased bodies being piled up in one of those freezer units just shakes me to my core. Do you get it yet? I'm petrified of hospitals. Even while giving birth to my kids in the maternity ward, one place in the hospital that is almost inherently a happy and peaceful place to be, had me not wanting to be alone at night, and whenever possible, I kept the baby in the room with me just to have some company. So you guys get the point, right? No hospitals for this chick unless absolutely necessary. I have friends who are nurses that have told me some insane stories, and I remember visiting my paternal grandmother in hospice. Oh my God, it was the actual worst, guys. The stories these brave men and women tell are just horrifying. I have one friend who's a nurse who sometimes can't wrap her head around some of the things I tell her, mainly about the visitations and the things I see lurking around.
Yeah, this is 3 years old.
Pick her up for either lunch or coffee when I was in the area. Even when it never failed
She always
that I would
looks
be
good.
right about not only who would die next, but who would go peacefully and who wouldn't. I guess it just gives me some sort of like weird happiness
she goes
when
through
my
her
friends recount
phases,
their strange stories of things that have gone on
just
with
like
their
we all
patients,
do.
or even the random stories I encounter online from doctors, nurses, and other hospital and emergency medical staff. It's like a strange and oftentimes twisted, I'll admit, sense of vindication and satisfaction that they are, for a mere moment or two, experiencing what I experience on a regular basis. With all of that being said, I'm going to bring you guys some personal encounters from some of my friends who work in hospitals, and even some of them who have had experience in hospitals while being treated there. I'm working on a listener encounters of hospital experiences only. Until then, though, I have scoured the internet for what I believe to be the scariest and strangest, most fear inducing experience had by hospital staff that I could find for now. As always, expect a part 2 sometime in the near future. If you
I
like
never
this
really got
video,
into
let me know
my
in the comments
stories.
and I'll give you more. Here they are, encounters in the hospital with
And I'm going to
possessed
end up here in
patients, demons,
probably a
etc.
month at doing
Turning
it
to
again.
religion isn't an uncommon thing when you work in a hospital, or so I've recently come to find out. Being religious myself, I guess I can see how it can bring a sense of not only comfort and peace, but of wisdom as well when encountering things that we know are from another realm or plane of existence and not knowing what to do with that information. Our first encounter takes place right here in New Jersey, in the hospital I actually had my youngest son in just 3.5 short years ago. There are similar stories all over the internet, but this one came from one of the nurses who, when I gave her an impromptu reading after my son was born, decided to tell me some of her horror stories from when she was new to the nursing field and long before she realized
Jared, you have a good one,
probably
bud.
the best
Have
bet
a good
for
week.
minimum
Have a good
amount of
weekend.
sadness and or death. It
Take care of
happens,
yourself.
mind you, in the maternity ward,
Have a
but
wonderful
not
day
so very
tomorrow.
often. So I'll call my friend Sarah. Sarah worked in the part of the hospital that held long-term care residents.
You too, man.
All of them had some sort of ailment or another, and most were, while not terminal, not too far from death's door. Most of Sarah's patients were happy-go-lucky and kindly old people whose families would visit them often and take care of any outside needs that they may have. There was one patient we'll call Bob because, well, why not? Bob was a terribly grumpy and ornery old man who never had a kind word for anyone. Bob could always be counted upon to literally suck the light right out of any room he walked into. We all know people like this, right? Old and young alike, who, at the mere mention of their names, suck the absolute light and life out of you. Energy and spiritual
Usually the case. I know people.
Anyway, Bob was angsty and unkind, except when he was begging the nurses, always in the dead of night, to keep him alive and not let him die under any circumstances. It seemed he had some sort of irrational fear of dying. He would go crazy and scream at anyone who would listen, quote, "Don't let me die, please," end quote, whenever the smallest thing would come up. Sarah said she was once simply putting a band-aid on a small cut Bob had had on his knee, and he looked at her with tears streaming down his face and said, quote, "Sarah, please don't let me die," end quote. She assured him that he wasn't going to die as far as she knew and tried to comfort him as much as possible. This went on for months, with Bob screaming his eerie plea every time his heart monitor would so much as beep, which it did almost every night in the middle of the night. This went on for months and months until one night Bob took a turn for the worse, and quickly. When the nurses heard his monitor going crazy, they weren't prepared for the silence they heard aside from the monitor. Bob wasn't screaming this time. He wasn't screaming for them to keep him alive this time. This was the strangest and most concerning thing of all. Sarah thought for sure something had happened, so she ran as fast as she could into Bob's room and couldn't believe what she'd seen. Bob was levitated in a seated position about 4 inches above his bed. His eyes were completely black, and he had what she described as a, quote, "look of pure evil," end quote, on his face. He turned his head with a sinister smile and looked at the couple of nurses who had gone into the room to assist Sarah, and he said, quote, "You stupid bitches just aren't going to let him die, are you?" End quote. One of the nurses started to scream, and this seemed to snap Bob out of it because suddenly he fell back onto the bed and seemed simply to be asleep. The monitor stopped beeping and his vitals went back to normal. Sarah looked him over and tried to reconcile herself to what she had just seen. She's religious, but has a hard time when it comes to believing in the devil or demons or even the dead coming back as spirits. Scientific brained, I call her. The terror was far from done in Bob's room that night, as about 2 hours after this incident happened, he went into cardiac arrest and was pronounced dead by a doctor about 20 minutes later. As was normally the case, after the other staff immediately cleared the room, it was Sarah's responsibility to get the patient on a gurney and ready to be transported down into the morgue. Right as she was leaning over him to grab one thing or another that was left behind by the doctors and staff trying to save his life, Bob suddenly jumped up. This was about 5 or 7 minutes after he was just pronounced clinically dead. He looked at Sarah, his eyes as black as coal, and that evil smile returned. It was almost like the Joker smile from Batman, only somehow way more sinister looking. Black eyes blazing and staring straight into her soul, and an ear-to-ear grin which was almost unnaturally wide on his face. He said to her, quote, "You let him die. Oh well," end quote. Then he fell back, dead again, right onto the bed. Right when he fell back, the sound of a scream echoed through the whole ward. "Why did you let me die? I wasn't supposed to die." Then a horrible and agonizing, wordless, and almost animalistic scream echoed for what seemed like hours over and over again throughout the ward that night, and patients and staff alike all heard it. By the next day, it was gone, but no one who worked there or had been there while all of this was happening, nobody who had actually seen what had happened to and with Bob, would ever be the same again. Sarah said she put in her transfer request the
Sorry
very
about
next
that.
day and within a month was working in the maternity ward. She has several stories and encounters from there I want to share with you all too, maybe someday soon. Our next one is one I found on the internet that I thought would be a great fit here. It comes from a nurse in Minnesota working in the oncology unit of a hospital. The nurse had been given a patient who was unconscious for several days and was obviously on her way out. On the third or fourth night, the nurse was doing her usual rounds and checking on all of her patients. She glanced into the unconscious and dying patient's room and, expecting her to still be knocked out, was shocked at what she saw. The patient was standing at the foot of her bed, and the nurse walked slowly into the room, intent on helping her to lie back down. The woman looked her dead in the eyes and said, quote, "Please don't let them take me," end quote. The nurse said, "Don't let who take you?" And the woman replied, quote, "Those black things up there," end quote. She then pointed above her head. The nurse looked and didn't see anything, and so went about trying to coax the patient back into her bed, which she finally did. About 15 minutes later, that same woman died. Her body just gave out. Natural causes, old age, whatever you want to call it, take your pick. The point is, as the nurse went running into the room, she heard a scream and a loud thump. She saw the deceased woman being dragged off of her bed by what could only be described as a, quote, "black mass of shadow," end quote. She blinked, and by the time she opened her eyes again, the patient seemed to be lying peacefully and still atop her bed as though nothing had ever happened. The nurse is adamant about what she saw, and it made her start going to church again after 25 years of giving up on organized religion. Nurses are definitely not the only ones to experience strange and oftentimes terrifying things while on the job and working in that type of setting. Our next encounter or experience comes from an EMT in Washington, D.C. Just like our two previous stories, this EMT's patient seemed to be unnaturally terrified of his own impending death. The EMT said he was out on a call and ended up being sent to this man's home. The man was in his early 40s and balding from chemo. He looked exceptionally frail and delicate, but had a booming scream when the EMT tried to coax him into walking back to the ambulance with him. The man would yell, quote, "Oh no, no, please, no, I don't want to die. I can't die," end quote. As he was screaming this, he was frantically looking all around the room. Even stranger still was that every few seconds or so, the man would swat the air as if there were some sort of fly or something nobody else could see
I
bothering
actually
him
have heard
about
a
his
person
fate.
scream that
Finally, they got him to sit on the
when I was
stretcher,
in
but he
the
kept
hospital
saying,
one
at
time.
this point, very low now,
Kind of creepy.
quote, "No, no, no, not now. Please, not now," end quote. For some reason, once the EMT got him outside and had stopped to talk to the patient's brother about something or other, the man jumped up off the gurney and crumpled to the floor in a big heap. He was completely still and hardly breathing. He had tears staining his cheeks and a morose look on his still and silent face. The EMT got him back on the stretcher and rushed him as quickly as he could to the nearest hospital. During the drive there, for some reason the EMT couldn't explain, he started wondering about what was going to happen to this man when or if he died. This was something he couldn't explain because he dealt with dead people and people on the brink of death every single night, and not once before had he ever pondered such a thing. This, though, is where he says the encounter took a turn for the weird. He said as he wondered if the man would go to heaven, a strange feeling started to creep over him. It was suddenly darker inside the ambulance than it had been before, and the air seemed heavier somehow than it was just moments ago. He explained it as though, quote, "darkness was creeping all around us, with us being him and the now deceased man." He stated, quote, "I happened to look down at the voltmeter and I saw the number 666 flashing. This panel normally doesn't flash at all, it just reads voltage. It went 666, then 0.1, then 666, then 0.1, then 666, then 0.1, and then it went back up to 1200 or so and stayed that way. The uneasy feeling went away, but I still prayed the whole way to the hospital," end quote. So just a little side note, in case some of you are unfamiliar, we in the Christian faith, most of us believe that 666 is like the mark of the beast. It really means incomplete, as God's number is 7, and on the seventh day he rested. We associate the number with evil, and this is mainly due to a passage in the book of Revelation. In Revelation 13:15 through 18, in the New International Version, it reads, quote, "The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666," end quote. Now, while I am in no way fanatical about this number, I don't like to see it. The other day, it was my number on my sandwich receipt for Wawa, and I was pretty upset about it. There's just something about it, but not trying to start a religious debate or whatever in the comments, just educating those of you who may not be familiar. Come for me if you wanna. Y'all know where I stay at. Anyways, let's do one more and then end on that note. Again, part 2s and 3s only if you all let me know you want more of anything new I may be covering like this here. In Fresno County, California, in the summer of 2015, at approximately 3 o'clock in the morning, brings us our next EMT encounter with the paranormal, and this time possibly demonic. The call was to a dark and extremely rural farm from where a call had come in about a suicide hanging. When they arrived, though, they didn't get what they expected at all. The 34-year-old man who had allegedly hung himself was very much alive and standing there talking to sheriff's deputies who were already on the scene. The man himself was a bit strange, though, dressed all in black from head to toe and having deep lacerations from his attempted suicide. It gets weirder. The man had tried to hang himself with what the EMT would later describe as in, quote, "oddly large, wicked-looking gray skeleton of a tree," end quote, which was on the almost unnaturally dark and somehow sinister farm. It was decided the young man should be taken in for treatment, and he was also restrained for his own safety. Or so they like to say, but I'm not even going to comment, okay? They started up the ambulance, and once they reached the main road, which again we have being described as almost unnaturally dark and unusually heavy, this is what the EMT had to say. Quote, on the way to the hospital, a few good miles down the road, we made a wrong turn, got a little lost, and took a back road. He was quiet and trembling. He wasn't fighting the restraints. He almost seemed to feel safer in the back of the ambulance while I got this bone cold chill down my spine. I looked out the window and saw this house. Mind you, every house is acres apart from one another. Well, the house was okay like the others, looked normal. But next to this house was this big tree slash bush, and in a separate tone and position, this old four-door sedan was parked. The car looked out of place and was clearly separated from the house and tree slash bush. It was like it was its own place, its own entity entirely. It was odd and it was creepy. I could normally see in the car's cab and see the headrest of the driver's seat from afar, but this car was pitch black on the inside, almost as if the darkness was coming out of the windows because it was the deepest and darkest black I've ever seen on the inside. All I saw inside was the deepest and darkest black and two neon dark blue eyes staring back at me a little above where a tall and big man's eyes would be in a car. Immediately, I felt the back of the ambulance get colder and the goosebumps and hair on my skin stood up. At first, I thought it was a security light or reflection in the car, but as we passed the house, the car turned on, pulled out, and started following us in the ambulance. The neon blue eyes were still there, and the cab was still dark as can be. The car followed us miles to the highway, still with the eyes staring and deepest, darkest black in the cab. Even with the street lights, I could not see into this car but for the neon eyes. I was almost mystified by this and forgot about my patient in the ambulance and partner, but I did not at all feel welcomed by these neon dark blue eyes. It was almost threatening and felt as if it wanted my patient somehow. We were on the highway and this car was still following us almost plus 20 miles now. The neon dark eyes were still there, and even with the highway lights, I could not see into this car. It got colder. It started to feel as if it noticed me watching and was watching and focusing on me now instead of focusing on my patient. The car then sped up and pulled up to the next ambulance in the next lane while we were driving and looked at me. I was very literally 5 feet from this car and could not see into the cab from the window. All I could see were those dark neon blue eyes and darkness. But it wasn't looking ahead, it was looking at me. And in that moment, out of nowhere, I said out loud, challenging it, quote, go away. You are not touching this man. This man is my patient. And if you want him, you'll have to come through me. I'm stronger than you and I will not let you have him, end of quote. After I said that, not even a moment later, the car in my ambulance split off as it went on one off ramp and I did the other. It was no longer cold in the ambulance and my patient was no longer gray in the cheeks, but now his cheeks were pink and normal. It wasn't until after the call and we got the patient inside the hospital when I realized what had just happened. I truly feel and felt that whatever the deep neon blue eyes thing was not human and that it wanted this man, end of quote. What do you guys think of that? Because I thought that it was like because the guy tried to take his own life, something was lurking about waiting for his soul. And when he accidentally didn't succeed, it was kind of still waiting for what it came for.
That would be my
Obviously, I believe it all for several reasons. Mainly, though, it's just that I never discount anyone else's experiences, not after all I've encountered and seen and been through in my life. Being called a liar hurts and makes things 100 times worse. Were the encounters with actual demonic entities or even Satan himself in the last one? Has anything like this ever happened to you? I'd love to hear about it. Send it in. That's all I have for you today,
yes,
guys.
he
Please
still
be sure to give
takes
this
listener
video a
encounters.
thumbs
So
up.
please,
Subscribe
folks,
if you
if you
haven't
got
already,
listener
and
encounters,
spread the love by
Gemma
sharing
J,
this video. I'm a little amped up because I
Paranormal,
haven't filmed in a couple of weeks. So I'm like, yes, it's so good to be back. If you haven't already, please go on over and subscribe to Moon Bear Oracle. It's my other channel where I was going to be doing once a month readings for each astrological sign, my intuitive oracle readings, but that would just be way too much on my plate right now. But I'm still doing some pretty awesome crystal, candle, herb magic, Council of Light, collective consciousness, all that type of stuff, the Christian mystic type stuff that I do over there. Gemstone of the month is coming up, and eventually I'll get to the monthlies and weeklies. That is my main and ultimate goal with Moon Bear Oracle.
I guess we can cut it from here. Let me
subscribe to the channel.
Stop this from sharing and shut it down off of the screen. See where my camera. 1 minute's too high, next minute's too low. Okay. Switch back over. It always does this. There we go. Hello, ladies. Now I can say hi to you. Hello, Bounty Hunter and Vixen. How are you ladies tonight? I hope you are well. Poop. I didn't want to do that. Why did you do that? Hold on. I'm having technical issues. Being goofy with me all of a sudden. There we go. Come on. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's try this again. In case I do another one, I like to have them set up and ready to go. What the heck just happened there? There we go. Where? I just got to get to it. And Vixen, your package will be sent next week again. It was bad. It was bad. It is. I looked at it and I laughed. I was like, yo, come on, you guys do better than that. This is the first time I ever had a problem. So when I ship it to you, I don't have to pay anything. It'll be already paid for. So yeah, I made a big stink about it, but my dad was kind of sad. All that work over the years. Actually, one was, they were both older ones that he did, I think, 2 years ago. One was completely ripped down the center. The other one was just crushed. I don't know. The box was just mangled, but I guess the truck got in an accident. So is what they were told me is the truck was in an accident. I think it was a semi. They didn't specify, which really kind of upset me. I'm just trying to find the next video. I learned that if I download them and we watch them, she doesn't get the view. And I figured, well, we might as well give her the view too while we're doing this. I'm going to go back a little farther. Well, not too far. We pretty much did all of her older stuff, other than a few of the crime stuff or missing stuff. I figured we'd hit those again. I kind of trying to alternate them. Where's the one I had picked? Okay, there's the one I just did. I know, and it really freaks me out. I felt bad. I was like, Dad goes, Dad said, he goes, what is it between everything here? You've never had a problem up until now. And I go, yeah, I know. And that poor woman tried to send me something and the pies were dead. He laughed and he goes, maybe they're trying to tell us that we should send to somebody else. And I'm like, no, we're going to send it to her. Bless his heart. He felt so bad, but he was upset too. And he wasn't as bad as I thought he'd be, because the one was pretty crushed. The box looked like it was literally ripped open. I mean, you could tell other things had fallen on it and stuff. It was just bad. So we picked you out 2 more. I just got to repack them. And we're going to ship them Monday. They were pretty nice about it. They knew I was upset. I guess I can imagine what else was in that truck. So I'm sure my items were nothing like half the other stuff, because he said there were TVs in there and a couple big items that were totally damaged. I'm like, holy crap. So I'm sure they had to take care of everybody that was in that truck. But it is weird. It is weird, Vixen. And Jarvis is here. Hello, I was arguing with the brother about the Banshee. My brother about the Banshee. But I figured he'd be upset. I mean, he was upset. I think he was more. It came off he was more upset it just got crushed. I don't think he was too upset about the artwork. But he's got all kinds of, bless his heart, for about a year to 2 years, about 2 years before the fire and a year after the fire. That's all he did was paint. When we got back in the house, he did that for a couple of weeks. It was good for him. It was good therapy. So yeah, we're just gonna pack you 2 new ones and ship them off. They're gonna guarantee everything. I did the last time. I don't have to pay for anything. So, but yeah, I thought it was kind of strange. He did too. It's like, man, what is it? You're not supposed to be sending stuff to anybody. I said, do you know, Dad? Every time I've sent UPS, especially like to Jersey, she's had it for like 3 days. And she sent me stuff through the post office that they sent for my birthday from her house, and it was here in 2 days. So I was really impressed. And that was the post office. Now, why can't they do that with the food? Actually, I had to compliment the guy this time. And I didn't like doing it. Hold on. I got the wrinkle. Sorry about that, folks. Let me go back to my other way so you guys can see the dragon. There we go. Let me get out of the way. There we go. But yeah, I'm not going to worry about. I'm not going to let that get the strangest of all that get to me, because I've never had a problem before. When truck crashes, I felt more bad for you because I know shipping food's not cheap. So maybe that's what the good Lord was doing. Since you wouldn't let me pay you for those 2 times, he's making sure that we pay for it one way or another. In return. Now let me catch up here. A lot of people are saying mail is having issues. They have issues, a lot of issues. 1 second again. Sorry about that, folks. Like I said, the voice thing. Yeah, the post office has been a nightmare. This is the first time when I ship stuff, I usually use UPS. I've never had a problem. This is the first time, but you can't help it if a truck crashes, I guess. Because I shipped it ground. Canada, do you think it's true about Canada? I've heard about Canada having mail problems too. So I don't know. If Al pops in, we'll ask Al. She lives in Canada. Are you in Canada too, aren't you, Bounty? I thought. I get confused sometimes. Shipped a PC by FedEx and they broke the. Oh, are you serious? Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I'd be making them pay for that. But she's not a fae. She is a morning spirit. She is. She doesn't scream. She Keens, and her original name means woman of the other world. Like somebody else spells cool with K. I use the KW like Cartman does. Cute. Main mail has been really weird lately. It would come to Belfast. Yeah, I thought that was weird how they redirected that. That was so wild. And that's probably what screwed it up the first. That was the first time, wasn't it? And then had to circle back, which didn't make sense to me. Yeah. So, I mean, she's had a couple issues with the post office too. I think she sent a box to, was it Steve Stockton a long time ago? And it showed up all broken and busted. Or it was one of them. And it showed up all busted. Everything inside was all broke. And she said she packed the crap out of it. And if you see the way she packs out boxes, you'd be surprised if anything breaks in it. And I'm the same way, man. I pack it till it can't move. But yeah, that was weird how they did that. Now, see, I have to correct myself. I had that happen with a package for UPS. Sending a package out to a friend out in California. And for some reason, it went to Kansas. Then it went all the way up to the Dakotas. Then it went back down to Kansas. And then I was like, what the heck was that all about? Every package I have sent to Canada has showed up destroyed and wet. Are you serious? That's yeah, Al pops in. I'll ask her because she lives in Alberta, I believe. She lives in the basically the Texas of Canada. So she sends me great political stuff from there. It's hilarious. Those people are screwed if they don't start standing up for themselves. I've ordered from Canada and I haven't had any problem. See, now I know people have said the same things. They've ordered from Canada and hadn't had a problem. But I've heard, like Chris, I've heard people sending packages to Canada. They've had problems sending it to Canada. The Chris isn't the only one, but that's crazy. Destroyed and wet is pretty bad. Do you think they take it by sea? Sailed across the lakes. Well, I guess it could go across that way if it had to. I don't see why it would. It would be just takes 3 weeks to get a package to Ontario. Yeah, I can drive there in 7 hours. Isn't it the truth? I was impressed. I can understand why it takes time. Yeah, because I can drive to Jersey in 8 hours. I mean, but it takes about 3 days to get to her. I think the quickest I sent a package to UPS to her was 2 days. And I was shocked that hers came to me. She mailed it like on the weekend or Monday, and I had it Wednesday. I was shocked. Yeah, I'm just the postal service. This is one of many problems we need to fix. Somebody said they were talking about making the U.S. Postal Service a private entity now, but that would just make the cost go up even worse because their UPS is expensive, but I think post office is way more expensive. As you can see, I wash my hair and it's so flat. I can't get it to do anything. I got static with electricity. Man, it got so crazy. Now it's cooling off. Now I'm getting static electricity like crazy. I was laughing at that because I was doing this and my hair was all standing out in the living room. Yeah, last night it got so cold the heater kicked on. I'm like, what's the heater sitting at? He goes, 62. Because we have a little wall here on the wall. When I'd send packages to Merritt in England, though, through Amazon, it took 5 days. Well, that's because they have their own Amazon. What they do is don't they usually just send them the order, right? If they have it in stock there. Because I'm sure their Amazon's pretty much filled with everything else. The same stuff we have, I would think. Well, I don't know. I'm sure they would have stuff that we don't have. See, what you have to find out from is when you order it from Amazon, where is it coming from to get to her that fast? Yeah, because I'm Amazon, they're quick. But they have their issues too. Yeah, you guys, we had a cool spot. we did were nights for a little bit that were getting really good and chilly. And Pop's like me, once he gets cold, he gets the shaking. His shakes get worse. And it's like me, if I get real cold and I get the shaking, get the chills, it's hard for me to stop. It just makes it just heightens everything. But he got cold on me, and he must have turned it up a little bit to 62. But see that one, it's a gas one out there. And it's a wall mount. It's like an old, freaking, I can't even think of the name, Coleman wall heater. And the only way you turn it off is turn it all the way down. But this time of year, because temperature changes, he automatically, at the beginning of September, sets it about 62. But it's been so warm. But it was funny because I got up last night at like 3 o'clock because I actually tried to get to bed early. And I couldn't sleep, and I got up and started pacing the house, and I went and looked in, and I'm like, man, it's toasty in here. Amazon in England doesn't have nowhere as much as we do. Everywhere, everything comes here in the U.S. Amazon delivering is amazing. Only a few screw-ups over the years. Now, I've never had a problem with it. Poor. It's not as much as the delivery. Sometimes you get a bad delivery driver. It's what goes on between your order and getting it. And then I've ordered what I thought was one thing for her, and it turned out to just be something totally different. I'm like, that's not what the pictures show. Little misleading. But I've never had a problem with them, only maybe twice. And they've always fixed it right off rip. It's supposed to be down to 39. Oh, really? You may get some chill. I know you guys are supposed to get chilly. Then it's supposed to warm back up. But we're supposed to warm back up. We're supposed to be like almost 90 tomorrow. And then we kind of taper back down again, which is really weird because I think this will probably be, if they hit 90 tomorrow, it has to be a record. At the end of September. That's got to be a record. I haven't even gone and looked to see if it has. Now, see, a lot of people say Etsy is really good about shipping and stuff, that there's usually not too many problems. And you get returns taken pretty much real fast. Amazon England maybe has 25%. Yeah, probably. That's what I figured too, Chris. Now convert that to Chinese percentage. Yeah. Fact, Latro. Oh, yeah, the porch pirates are bad. I gotta say, I've only seen it happen here once, but it really didn't happen because we all nailed the guy and he didn't get out of the neighborhood with the package. So, we all pretty much keep an eye on the place. Sorry for the munching. Crunching a lifesaver. That's what I heard was they follow the trucks. Have you seen the videos where the guy literally just puts, as soon as he puts the package down, the guy's running up, grabbing it and booking? I've seen a couple like that. I'm like, holy crap. That's pretty ballsy. Pardon my mouth. But what are they going to get in trouble for? A lot of times the police, oh, there's nothing we can do unless they catch them right ahead. That's why I love these people putting out these traps now. I've loved some of the traps. I've seen ink traps. I've seen one guy let his dog out. I've seen somebody do something like that with the stink bombs. One guy had ink. Did an ink one. One where I had the guy, if he told it pulled a string, and it literally just blew up and blew powder and everything all over him. Happened to you 3 weeks ago. Stole a 200 pair of. Oh man, they knew it was coming. 2-1, somebody knew that was coming. They knew it was in that box. Well, sometimes I think these Amazon drivers tip them off, even though they're not supposed to know what's in the box. Are there any parcel blockers you can use? We have quite a few for smaller stuff. You know, I thought about that. I thought about getting a post box for here, which would be nice. And I'm thinking if after things end here, wherever I go, I may just get a post box. But they're a pain. I heard the same thing. But I've heard good and pros about having a post box or a parcel box, parcel lockers. We also hooked a screamer to a fake box. Ah, that's hilarious. It is screaming with it. That's hilarious. Ooh, excuse me. There's a Whole Foods not far. Yeah, a lot of places around here have the parcel boxes. A lot of people use them. I know there's one at not CVS. There's actually a place that's just parcel. And a guy just kind of watches it up in a little, it's very, very big. And it's got a bunch of whole parcels for you and stuff. I don't know what he charges. You have a post office box, bigger packages they hold it. Yeah, see, and that's nice to have though, because they will hold them. But the mail cannot get to into the building. Others drop it off on the porch. Oh yeah. See, that's what I didn't like when I lived in an apartment, because that's where you see the biggest porch bandits is in apartment complexes. Especially how, like middle class up, because a lot of them are not home during the day. And even with the Ring cameras, yeah, they're going to get you on video. But, all you can do is give the information to the police. You might get lucky, but the percentages are not very good in your favor. See, they did that once with me. What was really bad was in one apartment complex I lived in, I had medication coming they wanted me to try. It was a shot, but you had to keep it cold. So the package was all packed in, styrofoam and cold. Well, I wasn't home, so the UPS guy took it over to the rental office. Well, the rental office never called to tell me I had a package, and there was no note on my door saying there's a package for me at the rental office. So it sat there for like weeks. And I go in there to pay my rent. And she goes, "Oh, I got a package for you." And I'm like, "Oh my God." I just sent it back, because everything was melted and it got warm. I was kind of pissed. Never got a refund so far. I've gotten, not from porch bandits. It's hard to get anything back out of a porch bandit, even through Amazon. You have to fight them. Man, my hair, it went flat. But yeah, but if you finagle with them, you might get a refund from Amazon. But everybody else, it's a fight. I mean, it's like, I even went around with my post office about her pies. I mean, I fought with them. I said, this should be covered. I was even telling them, you need to send this lady her money back. I even had people that my brother's wife was a postmaster. He worked for the main post office. They couldn't even do anything with their connections. I was so pissed. I was trying to get this woman her money back. I mean, God bless her. She tried to send us pies. And they couldn't even get that right. Anybody planning to buy interesting items from Prime Days October? I haven't even looked yet. Delivery drivers also steal. Yeah, they do. And they've been busted. Their Amazon guys get busted all the time. But yeah, they're real bad about it too. Or do a bait. I've seen them switch packages too. But see, sometimes I think they know what's in those boxes. They tip people off. I don't know if they keep a, they have to have an inventory sheet, I would think. But they may not know what's in those boxes. But it's wild because I hear stories like you were talking about your Nikes. I mean, come on. That almost sounds like somebody knew those were coming. Ordered a 3-pack of sunglasses, came open, 1 pair was gone. It figures, yeah. I've seen that happen. I ordered Kirk. I send Gemma and some of my kids like chocolate pretzels and stuff like that. So I figured, I'm going to order me some this time. I got the package. And this is the only time I've really had anything like that happen. And it was open and like half the pretzels were gone. I'm like, that's nice. They sent me a whole new one, of course. After I called and told them, I said, hey man, your driver ate a cap my pretzels. Both those packages were supposed to have been insured. Yeah, see, that's what I figured. I figured you insured them. That's why they was, and that was express. Yeah, I should have had them. If they were expressed, I should have had them in from where you're at. And to me, I should have had them within 3 days. At least 3 days. And that's what I was trying to tell my sister. And she was like, I told him. And she goes, did she try her post office? I go, yeah, she tried her post office. The lady was rude to her. Look at the used likes new. I always do that too. I always look at the used too. I always, like new and stuff like that, especially like when I'm ordering DVDs and stuff. Sometimes I'll get better buy on Amazon. But there's a couple places I found too that when I'm trying to rebeef my DVD collection back up. So when the power goes out, I got something to watch. I'm looking at a nice new, bigger generator too. But yeah, I always like to look at, I like to look at the deal sections and stuff like that. Also, have you guys ever heard of Bai? You can order stuff from Japan, and you can order from like different stores and stuff. It's really nice, and they all put it in one box for you. So, like, say you order from different places, they work out the money exchange. It's actually Japan's a lot cheaper for like Godzilla collectibles and all that stuff, and even movie collectibles. And they put them in one big box. When you're done ordering all the stuff and when you're ready to ship, you just tell them to go ahead and ship it, and they ship it. It's nice. And you usually and they even have auctions and stuff, so auction sites on there, so you can go in there. And I've seen stuff that sells here for like hundreds, $200 for half that here in Japan. It's like, holy crap. Let's see how much that tariff thing changes some of these places. China's already crying. And a lot of them are working with us, and a lot of them bringing places are going to start opening businesses here. So that's a good thing. that's the whole key, is to get them, come here. And when done going there, come here and work. Open your place. Put America back to work again. Just get half these people to go back to work. I would love to go back to work. I wish they would let me go back to work. I go nuts some days. I miss the printing press. I miss the kitchen. Those were two good jobs I had totally enjoyed and had fun with. Tops off some tools with the HFT prior to tariffs. It's not a bad idea. The only thing is, my dad was a mechanic. And every tool that you could probably think of from about the 50s all the way up to now, he probably has in these huge toolboxes. He had like 4 of them at one time. He gave one away. No, he had 5. He gave one to my older brother, I think, one of my brothers, one to one of their kids, and one to a friend of his. He's got 2 of them here. And they've got everything. I mean, you should see the basement. It's like so many tools you could think of. I mean, he's got stuff that mechanics probably haven't seen in years. Probably good collectible stuff. Oh, no doubt. Oh, their economy's hurting. I scroll TikTok and watch the Chinese propaganda on there, and it's like, folks, you have no clue how bad it really is there. It is really bad there. Even the people are starting to turn against the Pooh Bear. So yeah, it's not good, and they kind of deserve what they get. That's like, I don't think, it's like Gemma's talking about Temu and this other one, and I'm like, they're government owned. The China government owns those. There's no like real independent business other than small shops, and even then, the government's got the hands in that. But all the big stuff like Temu and all that, that's all run by the government. The only thing that stops my tools from unbalancing the earth is the gorgeous the China. So my dad probably said that. He's got tons. I was shocked. I knew he had a lot, and I didn't realize how much he had until he retired and brought everything home from the garage. I was like, holy crap, this guy's got everything. Almost, I know, and you can't tell. I mean, I have to say, if you pay attention to what you're doing on it, you could actually do good. But there are a lot of, there's a lot of stuff that they say one thing and you totally get something different. That's for sure. That is for dang sure. But yeah, it's owned by the government. Most of those places are. Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't touch Temu, but she's now noticing the price has gone up because of tariffs. So they're fighting back. So Temu is actually losing, I believe, is actually slowly losing business now because of it, because the prices are going up. And it's all cheap Chinese knockoffs. Every bit of it pretty much is. But, I've seen some of the stuff that she's gotten from Temu, and she's done pretty good. But she's also gotten stuff that's like, what the heck is this? Like this guy ordered a couch, and he got a little tiny couch. You've seen those. I think everybody's seen those in a short or something somewhere. But Temu, yeah. I got on there once and looked around. I was like, yeah. Not that Amazon. I got my Amazon Prime. I have it here the same day if I need it. Ears popping. I don't know. She was talking about another one she was looking at too. Shimu or whatever it's called. I guess they tried to scam her. Or she was trying to see what it was. But she said she's seen stuff on there too. What cracks me up is their Nike knockoffs. They're always crack me up. All you see those videos of these people buying these Nike knockoffs, these Jordan knockoffs. It's like, I'm pretty sure you were ordering your Nikes from a reliable source, Chris. The Giles has been getting into the card thing. And he ordered some cards, and he knew as soon as he opened the package, they were knockoffs. He goes, I guess I'm going to start being careful. That's like some of these characters he was ordering. You realize 2 of them were like knockoffs. He's like, nah, man. I even saw some NJK spark plug fakes. Oh, I wouldn't surprise me. I ordered stuff from Red Dress Day. For Red Dress Day. Much of it comes from Canada, and it's always expensive and beautifully made. Well, if it's beautifully made, I mean, if there's quality there, I can see why it's expensive. It's like on Facebook, I'd been seeing these goth suits for men and women. There was one I really liked. Tried to get attention, Gemma's attention. I thought that'd be kind of cool to show up in like an event in those or something. But they were nice, but they were a little pricey. But you're paying for quality. I'll pay for quality anytime, especially if it's handmade or well made. Oh, heck yes. I think most people would, especially when it comes to like clothes and stuff. I mean, I buy myself, I'm not going to lie, I buy my share of crap clothes, cheap clothes, but that's because I'm hard on clothes. I got my nice stuff. I do have to, so I gave a lot of my, like I said, when I started wearing shirt and ties for oracles, told Gemma, I said, I don't have many ties left from the restaurant days when I was running a restaurant, working the restaurant as a manager. So I had to go out and buy some new slacks, new shirts. I like dressing up once in a while. So, but yeah, now that stuff gets expensive. I couldn't believe how much ties. You used to get ties fairly cheap. Now they're even a little pricier now. Now I'm seeing a lot of knockoff car stuff on Temu, Latro. It's like, yeah, nice try, guys. I can send some ties. Most useless items in Texas. I love my ties. Yeah, I can imagine. It gets pretty steamy down there. They do wear a tie. Isn't that what do they call that? A bow tie? Not a bow tie, a bull tie or something where it's the string with the slide up. That is considered a tie. Her grandfather had some really nice ones. Man, those things were nice. I wish I'd have gotten a couple of those. Yeah, bola tie, is that how they say it? Yeah. Man, he had some really nice ones. Man, they were cool. Got a couple turquoise ones, a couple military ones because he was in the army. But I didn't even know they made that stuff for the army. But yeah, he had a couple of them. They also it wasn't like a fedora. It was like a fancy hat, but it had a cowboy style hat to it that he wore all the time, but it wasn't a cowboy hat. It was like a dress hat. Those were, he had those made him. Those he had made for him. He had like 6 boxes of those. I had one for a while that he wore all the time. Polo. I've got one made from silver with turquoise. Yeah, he had one like that too. It was a neat, looked like a Thunderbird. It was really nice, man. I think her Her mom got it. It was nice. It turned jet black and looks cool. Oh, really? His was really cool. But I think that's what his was with a Thunderbird. It had turquoise in the center. Oh, it was nice. Beautiful piece. I would have wore that. Is that where that's from? I didn't know how that started. That was one thing I did. But I always thought they were cool. He had some really nice ones. He had a couple army ones that must have been specially made or something for him. I'm letting my hair grow. So I don't want to go get it cut. Usually I get it cut about this time of year and then let it grow out for the winter, but I'm going to let it go. So, but yeah, like I said, he had some nice ones. I would wear those. I don't see them too much around here. I'll have to look and see if I can find any. Wear one. I like bow ties, but because I have a long neck anyway, so bow ties, I don't mind a decent bow tie like I wear once in a while with that red one I wear once in a while. Enjoy your hair white. Actually, this has been coming on ever since I had the hair turn white on. Sometimes it'd come in, it'd look kind of strawberry blue when I'd have white patches all over it. I always had that. This has always been there. But I was surprised. Somebody told me my hair would never go back to well, it never went blonde because before it turned white, it was blonde. I mean, blonde. But after it turned white, and then Dad shaved it all that time, and every time it grew back, I noticed the color was slowly coming back, and then it just came back as a dirty blonde. But the white on the sides always stayed. I was at 16, had these go in and not even get carded. A bullet. That would actually be kind of cool. Let me know what. Send me pictures, and I'll tell you which ones I like. I'm gonna look too. Now that you guys brought that up, because I didn't even remember those until you guys brought them up, because he used to wear them all the time. And like I said, he had some nice ones. They were kind of cool, but the Thunderbird always stuck out because it was a nice big one and it looked good on him. He always wore the shirts with silver tabs on the tips of the collar. Yeah, he was a well-dressed guy, even in his late years. They had some nice pair of boots too, but I can never wear cowboy boots. God knows I've tried. I always wanted a pair of alligator ones. I'd like to get an alligator jacket. Seen a couple of those that looked really cool, that were really well done. But yeah, let me know, Vixen. Send me some pictures if you know where you're getting. I bet you do have connections. You seem to have good connections up there. And I'll tell you what, though, I may have to have you make another candy and cola run for me, though. Those guys. Actually, I like the Boston beans, man, were just perfect. I used to love the boxes, but those were like, they had a little more to it. The gummies, man, they disappeared fast too. I think he took them to work. Cowboy boots are not comfortable, at least in my price range. Dan Post makes a decent boot for a reasonable amount. Really? My problem is I have flat feet. That was the one thing I had a problem with when I was fighting, because I had flat feet. The coach would always give me a problem about it because I always wanted to. So they made me take ballet to learn to stand on my toes. And I can still do it to this day, which shocks me. I can't walk very far as like I could in a day, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, it got to the point I couldn't wear dress shoes for a long time. But also, a lot of that happened too because of earlier on, I could wear dress shoes when I was younger and stuff. I probably could have worn the boots when I was younger, but I'd broken my toes so many times. And then having web toes too on top of that. You know how hard it is to set web toes. Yeah, that's what I heard. A normal pair of boots anywhere between 100 and 500. That's about what it runs up here. Actually, there's a place right off of Hudson up here in Columbus. They make boots and hats. I know they make a killer business when the horse shows in town. And they must be good because there's always a good crowd in there. And I know they're kind of pricey. They sell the little boxes of Boston baked beans. I think, oh yeah, you can find them everywhere now. I noticed too, at the gas station up here at the top of the street, you can get them. They used to be 25 cents, but now they charge 50 cents. But the lemon heads too, you can get them in the small box with the little boxes of. They had a thing of the lemon heads, the Boston beans. What was the other one? Some off brand I never heard of candy. And I would always grab a couple boxes. I mean, for $2, you got a little couple boxes to carry around with you to nibble on. I like lemon heads. I was a lemon head guy. But I like gnawing on the Boston beans. We used to get them in Halloween, and everybody would just give me theirs because they knew I'd eat them. Yeah, it was like it was a yellow box. I thought they were lemon heads at first, but they looked like little round red candies. I don't know if they were cherries. It looked like something from India or something. I'd never seen before. And they were 50 cents, but they went about this big. They kind of looked like Boston beans, but they weren't. They were in a yellow box. And I've only seen them in that gas station. And I haven't had the guts to buy one to see what it was. So I call them off brands. Yeah, when I don't know what the candy is, I call it off brand. Heck, I actually found me a Zignut bar not too long ago. So I bought a whole handful of them. It's like Clark bars. You can't find Clark bars up here like you used to. The Red Hots are good, yes. I didn't mind Red Hots as much as I used to back in the day. They're just not as hot as they used to be. I used to eat those things all day long. Used to get the little ones. You can get the little heart ones. And then every so often you can find a package of the bigger ones. It almost look like a little small jawbreakers. There's a candy shop, Chris, up north here, I think, that sells candy from like the 30s all the way up to now. And this place is huge. They say they got everything you could think of. Oh, I used to love Cow's Ice too. I like the sticks. I didn't mind. I like the candy individual ratch, but I like the sticks, the Cow Ice sticks. Chico sticks is what they're called. Cow's Ice sticks, same thing. Now the Cow's Eyes, everybody give me their Cow's Eyes in Halloween. And, hey man, give me your Cow's Eyes. I used to eat those like crazy. It's like people give me a hard time about eating candy corn. I like candy corn. Actually, I like the pumpkins. I mean, they're all the same. It's the same taste, but I like that stuff. You give me a hard time eating candy corn. The fall mix is what they call it. Now they have them in flavors, I guess. I haven't tried the flavored ones yet. We have We have one 5 minutes from me called Supreme Nut and Candy. They sell, oh, really? All the penny candy? I like the button strips. Cowtails. Thank you, Vixen. I like the paper, the buttons on the paper. Man, we used to go to this one place, and this guy would literally give me a whole roll for like $1. I'd sit and pick at those things all day. Buckeyes were the Cardinals. Is that what they're? Now, to me, when you say Buckeyes, I think of a Buckeye. Now, we have a new lady up here at the top of the street. I got to go try. I told Ashley she's going to have competition with me because apparently there's a new lady at the top of the street just past Graceland. The Buckeye lady. And she's getting rave reviews. And every time I go by the place, it's packed. And I guess she makes Buckeyes, all different types of Buckeyes, flavored Buckeyes. And I guess they're really good. So I'm going to have to go in there and get me a box and send, because Gemma's never had a Buckeye before. I should just send her a recipe to make Buckeye bars. My mom used to make Buckeye bars in a big old sheet pan. So she didn't have to sit there and dip them all. She would just make a big sheet pan. Those were always hot, but they're always so rich. You could eat like 2 or 3 of them and you have to take a break. The Buckeyes, the caramel creams. Yeah, okay, you're good. I was going to say, that you did kind of confuse me on. I didn't know where you were going with that. Though the lady at the Buckeye lady does have ones with caramel in them. I mean, she's got everything. She's got like ones with strawberry. I'm like, that's not a Buckeye, though. But they look good. I mean, I saw an ad for her here on Facebook. I was like, holy crap. And then I realized it's just that there's one right up the street. Yeah, I don't mind caramel creams once in a while. That's like your grandma's candy, you know. With those. We sell those at Perry's. I'll send you another care package. Up here, Buckeyes are peanut butter dipped in. That's what a Buckeye is. It's just a peanut butter bowl dipped in chocolate. That's what a Buckeye is. And Gemma's never had one. I'm like, man, you never had a Buckeye? Basically, it's just a Reese's cup. It's shaped like a Buckeye. That's what it is. But they're so good. Yeah, I knew the Buckeyes were falling here. That reminds me, down the cemetery here, we have like about 5 Buckeye trees on this one side. They're all grouped together. It's funny, right at the beginning of September, you start seeing people herd down there with buckets to pick the gather Buckeyes. And then they string them and make stuff with them and then go down there to the Ohio State University for the games, for the Buckeye games, and sell them on the streets. I like the DUBBY chocolate bars, but they are like 20 to 30. I've never had those. They say they're really good, but I've never had. But I don't think I paid that much. It better be a damn good bar, and it better be huge. It better last me a week. Ugh. But some of that chocolate stuff can get expensive really fast. Chocolate's gone up too. Are you seeing them up there too? I have yet to see one, but I'm going to have to go check. If I see one, I'm going to have to check one out. I don't know if I'd pay that much for one, but what I like to see, I told Ashley this too, we have a lot of new bakeries opening up around here too. I love baked foods, you know, like pies and stuff, cake. I like cakes and, you know, the fancy cookies and stuff like that. They've opened 2 here recently, filled with pistachio. See, I'm not a pistachio guy. Not that expensive. I'm not a pistachio. Excuse me, I'm doing it again. Kroger and Walmart sell them. Really? Yeah. I'll have to check them out, but I'm not a pistachio guy. So if they got pistachio, I probably won't touch it. It's like tapioca. Not a tapioca guy either. My grandma tried to make me eat tapioca once, and I was like, nope, they ain't taking me to touch it. I tried it once, and I didn't like it. Did not like it. Now, Dad might like that. He likes pistachio once in a while. Etsy has a Thunderbird polo tie for $45. That's not bad. I'll have to go look. Email me the link. I'll go check it out. I wonder if it's like the one he had. Man, he is. You can tell that he paid bucks for his. I mean, it was high quality. When it was silver. I mean, pure silver. It was a nice turquoise in there. Fixing the average purse. They go up to 40. See, I still wouldn't pay that much for a candy bar. It better be damn good. And it better be worth the bite. Probably is if they're asking that much. That's wild. She found one. She's looking while she's talking to me. Bless her heart. Yeah, because I'd like to have a collection. He had a real nice set. I know Stan, his son, got one of a bunch of them. And I think her mom got the rest of them. But she also got Hitler's China out of one of his homes. I can't say that. I always tell you, the woman with the Hitler's China. And it really was Hitler's China. Her mom has a set of Hitler's China that came out of his house after they raided. You know that movie, Monument Men? Where basically her grandfather was one of those guys. Went in and cataloged and everything. He got a bunch of stuff. I don't know how he made it that far. He barely made it through Pearl Harbor. He was through so many wars. I mean, the story this guy would tell was amazing. But that much for chocolate. Now the bolo tie I could see going for $45. It's probably nice too. I've heard that a lot of nice stuff comes out of Etsy. I've never really sat and looked at Etsy. What we got? I wasn't going to play a second one. I'm going to take her to 2 and call it an evening, guys. So I can get up in the morning. I want to get myself settled in. I still got to make my bed. I washed my sheets and stuff, and everything's still sitting on my bed. And I got to do my workout. They have some vintage Navajo made bolo ties, silver and turquoise. The Thunderbird is silver and turquoise. Oh, I bet that seems popular with that Thunderbird, because I've seen a couple of them. His was really big. I mean, it was like that, almost like that big. It was nice long string on it, pull through, leather, nicely braided too. And that whole thing was nice. And I know he paid bucks for that. Like some of the hats he had. He had some really nice ties too. Other regular ties. He had a print of the Last Journey that got put away. One of the first reprintings of it. You know, with the Indian on the horse all slumped over, holding the spear on the hilltop. Journey's End, I think is what it's called. It's put away. But it was like on the back it says first print edition. And then he gave me a first print copy of The Shining that Stephen King gave him when he was at the Stanley after he did the book. That's put away. That's in a lockbox. I have 2 kids that are going to fight over after I'm gone. Actually, and Sammy, probably more than Ashley, probably fighting for it more hardest. Kind of 4. You know what, folks? I think it got kind of quiet. I'm going to go ahead and call it because I'm kind of getting quiet too. My voice is kind of rough. You will be hearing from me probably, I'd say Tuesday or Wednesday. And hopefully I'll have a tracking number for you, Vixen. And we're going to get those mailed out. Redone. He's got them all ready to go. I just got to box them, repackage them. Everybody have a wonderful Sunday. I believe she does have a video coming out on, an upload coming out on, a premiere, I should say, Tuesday night at 10. I should be here Wednesday night. I don't see why not. I'll be here at 11. And then be here Friday night at 7:15. No oracles. It'll just be paranormal talk. We have some ideas going here about how we're going to approach it. And then I should be here Saturday night. So everybody have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Thanks for hanging with me. I didn't draw a big crowd tonight. I never do, and I don't worry about it. I only bring it up because maybe the word, but it's okay. World's changing, so I get it. Everybody have a wonderful one. Have a good start to your week. Hopefully I'll see you Tuesday night at 10 for her premiere. I'm having issues. I guess I'm babbling too much. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate it. Thanks for watching one with me. And I will see you guys on the flip side of Tuesday at 10, hopefully. Be there, I hope. Well, I should say be there. But I hope to see you there. If not, I hope to see you Wednesday. Have a good one, folks. God bless.